master's degree or PhD degree, your career will not go the way you want it to go. So choosing the right college is extremely important. So those of you who have joined right now, let's say you have not missed out on anything. We are just starting out, so it's fine. And even if you have missed out on anything, the entire recording will be made available. So don't worry about it. Okay. So university shortlisting is what I like to call a two-way process. Right? It's not that, okay, let me find the college I want to go to. It's not only that. It is a two-way process. What are the two ways? The college should fit your requirements, of course. The next is that you should fit the college's requirements. So it's a two-way process. So there has to be two-way match. You know, it cannot be only that, okay, I want to go to this college, so let me go to this college. It's not only that. It is also not that, okay, so I can get admission in this college, so that is where I should go to. You know, so it is not that either. So, you know, as I said, the university selection process is a two-way process. The college should fit your requirements and you should fit the college's requirements. You know? Most of the time students get stuck on this. You know, they look for the college that they want to go to, but this is also extremely important. You know, you should also have the profile to be able to get admission into that college. Now, what do I mean by your requirements? What should your requirements be, right? I'm not asking you what your requirements are. I'm going to tell you what your requirements should be. What should you be thinking about? What should be the parameters based on which you should choose the colleges? Some of the parameters you probably already know about. Some probably, you know, you have a vague idea, but you don't, you have not kind of thought about them as serious parameters, right? One thing is the quality of education. Right? Yes, I do know that a lot of you, you know, you want to go to the US probably because you want to settle there, or probably because you think there are better job opportunities. So all those are valid reasons. I totally agree. But at the same time, you should also ensure that the quality of education of that college should be good. Now, what I mean by quality of education is that let's say that you want to do let me say something like you want to pursue an MS Computer Science degree with a specialization in robotics, let's say, or maybe with a specialization in data mining, you know. So, so when you search for a college, you should be searching for a college where the computer science department should have the data mining or robotics as one of its specializations. No point in going to a college that is good in computer science overall, right? So now this is where students go wrong. They look at the ranking. So I'm not against that. You should definitely look at the ranking, but the rankings never ever go into that detail. The rankings, you find rankings for computer science colleges, you will find rankings for electrical engineering colleges, you will find rankings for mechanical engineering colleges. So that's fine. But let's say a college that is let's say number 5 or number 10 for computer science might not actually have a focus on data mining, right? So so even if you start the basic university selection process by looking at the university rankings, you should definitely spend some time on their website to see whether they offer the specialization that we are looking at. Now, okay, everybody else can hear me? So now on university website, how many of you have visited a university website? Right. So I'll give you an example, right? So let's say that you are looking at mechanical engineering or colleges. So everybody has heard of probably Michigan Ann Arbor, UMich, University of Michigan Ann Arbor, right? So now just so let's say you want to go and look at University of Michigan Ann Arbor. So what you should be doing is that go to the department website, right? No point in going to the overall university website. The way to search is that go to the department website. So in this case, if you're looking for MS Mechanical Engineering or so you need to go to the department website. So in the department website, you will find subsections like academics, undergraduate, graduate. You will find different sections. One section is research area, or it will just be called research. So now this is the area that you should be looking at in case you have a particular specialization in mind. Let's say that you want to do automobile engineering specialization within mechanical engineering. Let's say. So and you want to look at University of Michigan and other. So you should be going to the university's website. From there, go to the department website. That is the Department of Mechanical Engineering. Then look at the research areas. So if in the research areas the university is not offering automobile engineering, then that is not the college you should be going to. Right? I get a lot of students who say that they want to do do a master's in electrical engineering and specialization in telecom or VLSI or power engineering, all this sort of thing. But the truth of the matter is that not all colleges not all colleges who offer MS Electrical Engineering will offer you the specialization of VLSI or will offer you the specialization of power engineering. The rankings, when you look at the US News rankings, those of you who don't know where to look for rankings, so the website is usnews.com, www.usnews.com. So this is the website that you should be referring to for university rankings. This is a website that is recommended or that is accredited, that is recognized by universities. So usnews.com is where you will get the rankings of universities. So if you are looking at overall electrical engineering rankings and you decide to apply based only on that, you might end up applying to a whole bunch of colleges where VLSI is not a research area or VLSI is not a specialization area at all. So then you'll get stuck, right? So it's important to do this bit of research. Again, just to summarize, rankings is a good place to start. But if you have a certain specialization in mind, or let's say you are not even sure which specialization, let's say that you have two specializations in your mind, Let's say you want to do computer science and you are not decided whether you want to do software engineering or whether you want to do, artificial intelligence, let's say, So you look for universities which have both. So that is the way to go, right? So once you start looking at universities, please go to this depth, and the information is available in the research tab in the department website. It is not found within the overall, the main website. You have to go to the department that you are applying to, then look at the research area of that specific department. Okay, any questions about how to look for the specializations and research? This is of extreme importance, to people who are applying for PhD. Because for PhD, obviously, it's far more specialized. PhD is far more specialized, right? So it is a really, really important point of research, point of search for students applying for PhD. I can't tell you what to do for physics. It's your choice. What do you want to do within physics? I can only tell you how to look for it. I cannot tell you what you should do. Yes, Roshan. Roshan's question is it possible to apply for PhD without master's? Yes. So in the US, you can apply for a PhD degree right after your master's degree. However, to be able to get an admission, you need very, very, very strong academic record. It's just impossible to get admission if your academic record is not if you're not in the top 10% of your class, it's like really not possible to get admission. Moreover, if you have some research publications or research papers, that will make your case stronger. Utkarsha has a question. If I want to transfer my courses in second year for MS, will I be exempted for the courses that I have studied in my college as MTech? See, transfer from India is a little tough. So you'll have to do what they call, just hang on, let me just clean up the screen a bit. Okay, so there's this website called WES, right? So you will need to do a WES evaluation of the courses that you have done in the first year of MTech in India, and then you can apply as a transfer students. But let me tell you this, transfers at the master's level is far tougher. It's quite tough, but technically yes, it is possible. Okay. Hang on, just hold on your questions for a second, right? Just hold on your questions for a second. Prasanna has a question. I'm going to apply for MS Renewable Energy Engineering. How I can shortlist university? Okay, so MS Renewable Engineering, most of the times it will come under under civil engineering or environmental engineering. So just those will be the good places to look for. Arav has a question. I graduated in 2015, worked with an MNC for an year, left the job. So I'm not sure how I can help you. I mean, I'm not able to understand the question. Okay, Hardik has a question. Is overall GRE score important factor? Okay, so we are not looking at the admissions criteria yet. Okay, so just hold on to your question, Hardik. Vishakha has a question. MS in VLSI, good job options in India. Yeah, VLSI is one of the most common specialization within electrical engineering. Yeah? One of the most common. Varun has a question. Specific research area is better when comparing different universities. No, I'm not saying while comparing any university that is good is good. What I'm saying is it should not be totally absent, right? A college might be overall good for computer science, but it may not have the specialization of, like said, something like data mining or robotics at all, right? But if you have to compare like two universities with both offers, let's say robotics, then you can go by the overall ranking. That is okay. I'm talking about that a college might be highly ranked but might not have the specialization you are looking for. Tanvi has a question, does writing research proposal enhance your chance? Oh yeah, research proposal, or actually if you can get some publications, that will be really helpful, right, for PhD. Utkarsha's question is, how much score will be fine for transfer? So it's a very vague question unless I know more about your profile. So after the end of the webinar, I'll give out an email ID. So you can send in a detailed profile there so that I can look at it and give you some specific answers. Okay. Then there is a question from Neha. I am not sure in which field I want to do MS. So I would suggest that at the end of the webinar, I'll give out an email ID. Please, send out your, send your details. I at least need to know what you are currently doing, etc. Right, to be able to give you any kind of answer. Sumit has a question: how to know how good is the research if the required area specialist is available? Okay, so then, as I said earlier, I think I already addressed this. Then you can go by the overall ranking. That's fine. Actually, question is, how many universities approve 3-year graduation? Again, this is a very specific question. If you want to do an MBA, then all the colleges are okay. If you want to do a master's degree, MS in, let's say, mechanical, MS in any kind of engineering, then there are hardly any colleges that will approve of the 3-year degree from India. But it depends on what master's degree you want to apply for. See, those of you who are asking questions about what score is needed to get into something, so I'm going to avoid that question till for the time being, because we have not reached that point in the presentation yet. Okay, Hardik has a question: does business operations make more sense or operations research? Okay. Operations research, you will not find specializations called business operations, okay? So it's called operations research, and operations research is very up and coming and very interesting field. Lot of people get jobs in data analytics industry. So operations research is definitely good. Business operations, you have something called business analytics, but for that you need work experience. There are degrees called MS Business Analytics, but for that you need work experience. Faisal has a question: are research publications utterly unavoidable in case of? No, it's not that. It's not that. Right. Okay. So now I'm getting very specific questions. So I'll just Vishakha has a question, which one will have better job in India? Okay, first of all, if you want to work in India, then why bother about doing your master's degree in the US? Do something in India itself. Silver has a question, is it better to do take a year gap after BTech to prepare? I don't think it's a better idea. In fact, you will have to justify that gap, right? So if you, no point in taking a gap after a BTech. Param has a question, is need to have good profile to get, of course it is important to have a good profile, right? Okay, so we are not looking at the admissions criteria right now, okay? So I'm just avoiding the questions where you are asking about your GPAs or about your, GI scores, etc. Okay, Akshat has a very specific question, the tentative list that is given by Jamboree counselor, how to select the 4 university out of those. Okay, so in this case, Akshat, if you are already an admission counseling student of Jamboree, just have a call with your counselor. Your counselor will have a detailed discussion and will help you shortlist those 4 colleges, okay? Hardik, business analytics, look at business analytics. Okay, again, I'm not answering questions regarding who to take letters of recommendation from and things like that, because that is not the scope of today's presentation. Right. Okay, so anyway, actually I'm moving on because I'm getting a lot of questions about regarding admission criteria and scholarship criteria. So we have not reached that point at all. We have not reached that point at all. So let's move on. Next thing that you should be you should look at is the budget. What is your budget? Right? So then one related point is scholarships. So very often I get students who come and tell me that I want to go to a college which will give me scholarships, right? Then my question is that what is your budget? See, maybe there is a college A, where the fees is, let's say, 50 lakhs, right? And there is a college B where the fees is, let's say, 20 lakhs, right? Now, let's say college A gives lots of scholarships, right? And college B does not give scholarships. So, which college should you go to, right? So, in this case, I would still say that, you should apply to both. And maybe your chances of probably, will be better in college B. The reason is that just because a college gives scholarship does not mean that you will get scholarship. Moreover, the fees is so high, even if you get 50% scholarship, even if you get 50% tuition waiver, you will still have to spend 25 lakhs in this college. So, whenever I get questions about, I want to go to a college which offers lots of scholarships, so that is not the right question to ask. The right question to ask is that, okay, this is my budget, XYZ, this is the amount of my budget. Which are the colleges that I can go to? Then, even if a certain college does not give a lot of scholarships, but its fees is low, then that is the type of college you should be applying. Now, in the US, there are 2 types of colleges, right? Do you know the concept of public universities versus private universities? So, in the US, there are 2 types of colleges. One is called public, the other is called private universities. So the public universities are government funded, right? So they are cheap. Public universities are quite cheap, while private universities are very expensive. Now, unlike India, private universities do not mean bad, right? So a lot of your good colleges like MIT, Stanford, they are all private colleges. So private colleges does not necessarily mean that it's a bad college. It just means that it has no government or state funding, so it's obviously more expensive. Now the catch is that, that private universities give a lot of scholarships, right? But the public universities, they give comparatively lesser, I won't say less, but comparatively lesser scholarships. So it's a difficult situation. Public universities are cheap, but they give lesser scholarships. Private universities are very expensive, but they give lot of scholarships. So what you have to look at is that, what is the gap? What is the gap between the cost minus scholarship, right?
So, and this is how you should be finalizing. And is this gap equal to your budget, right? So you should always start your college search with a budget. You should never say that I want to go to a university that gives me scholarship. So that is a very wrong way to approach the entire application process. Of course, if you are applying for a PhD degree, now for PhD, most universities give 100% scholarship. So yes, unless you are applying for PhD degrees, you should always have a budget in mind. Now, to finalize this budget, you should be talking to your parents. You should be, you should be actually checking whether how much education loans you can get, etc. So you should definitely first decide your budget and then look at colleges. That is, a budget is a very important deciding, should be a very important deciding factor. Now there is how many of you read newspapers? So yesterday or day before yesterday, there was this announcement, in I take Hindustan Times, so that SBI has raised the cap of education loans to 1.5 crores. Anybody else happen to catch this news? Right, so that is good. So SBI, State Bank of India. Now, what is the good thing about interest? SBI has the lowest interest rate. SBI has the lowest interest rate. The private bank or like HDFC or I mean they do give higher amounts, but the rate of interest are killing. So SBI has the lowest interest rate, and they have increased their the upper limit of the education loan to 1.5 crores. So it's like amazing, right? So yeah, so if you just do spread the news, inform your friends or anybody. So this will be a huge, huge help for students, for parents mainly. It will be a huge, huge advantage. Okay, I'm going to take some questions. Let's pause for a second. I'm seeing some very basic questions. Hardly has a question: are state universities categorized as public? Yes. All state universities are public universities, right? So, but the word state need not be in the name of the university. For instance, University of Michigan and is a state university, but the name does not appear. The word state does not appear. Some obvious ones are, of course, any university with the word state in it, like Arizona State University, North Carolina State University, Sunny Buffalo, any university that has the word state in the name. So that means it's a public university and it's going to be cheaper than the other university. Alpika has a question: does applying give you benefit? I am not sure what that means. Supriti, your question is: are private universities considered better than public? No, there is nothing like that. There are good. So private and public is not an indicator of the quality of the college. It's just that actually it just means that some of them have taken government funding and some of them have not. That's it. All right. Okay. There is a question, it's an interesting question. What about budget and scholarship plan if I want to plan for masters with thesis option? In fact, all the discussion that I am having, I am assuming that all of you will go for thesis option masters. There is no point in going for non-thesis option masters because the job of options are really poor. Moreover, you cannot do a PhD degree ever if you do a master's degree without thesis. So when you are applying for universities, make sure that you apply for master's degrees with the thesis option. Prabhat has a question: do banks give education loans for abroad education as well? Yeah, of course. As I said, SBI itself they do. So SBI they have. I mean that's a public sector bank, and they are the private universities obviously they give. Akshata's question is: does it help if you meet representatives during education fairs held in India? No, actually, the people who come for education fairs, they are mainly the marketing people of the university. So they are not going to help you with the scholarships or anything for that matter. They are there to promote their college. So application process is a totally different process anyway. Adrita, you cannot pay back the education loan while you are studying. The payback will start once you get a job. Okay, so there are a lot of questions I am getting about the scholarship, how to get scholarship, etc., etc. So what you can do is that just one of our earlier webinars was for scholarships only. So do watch the recording. So made a question. I think one can select thesis or non-thesis after you go to the university. See, most universities nowadays they do not even have the non-thesis option. So at the time of applying, definitely select the thesis option. And once you go there, if you are not able to do a thesis, then you will be anyway forced to do the non-thesis option. But that's a downgrade kind of thing. It's not an upgradation. Neha, there is nothing called MS with internship. MS with thesis, non-thesis. That's it. There is nothing called MS with internship and MS with non-thesis. Yeah, Utkarsh has a question, assistantship money, is it enough? So again, depends on how much assistantship you get. If you get 50% assistantship, if you get 100% assistantship, obviously depends on how much amount you get. Just even when you get scholarships or assistantships from universities, it need not be 100%. It may cover only 50% or 60% of the expenses. Okay. So, the thesis, when you are applying, if you are interested in scholarship or something, do apply for the thesis option. With thesis option, the job options are better. The chances of being considered for assistantships and scholarships is better. You can do a PhD later on if you want to, but if you go for a non-thesis option, all those, you can never ever do a PhD. Okay, then moving on. Okay, so Nirvan, I see your question. It is very, very profile specific. I would prefer if you email the question to us after the webinar. If I start taking very profile specific question, it might bore the other people. So I'm not going to take very profile specific questions. Okay? Next thing is job prospects. This is a very obvious thing that you will go to a college where there are job prospects, right? Okay, one thing I missed out on. So in some universities in the US, they do not give scholarships to international students, right? So if you are highly dependent on scholarships, then do make sure that you don't apply to such colleges. For instance, Carnegie Mellon, they rarely give scholarships to international students. University of Pennsylvania, they rarely give scholarships to international students. So if you are, unless you are able to afford it on your own, so you may want to avoid them, right? They are good colleges obviously, but if you are totally dependent on scholarships or you are hoping to get some kind of scholarship and you cannot do without it, then it makes sense to avoid those universities. Now, job prospects, my next slides are going to be about this. So, job prospects is extremely important. Now, job prospects as an international student. Now, you will be an international student. So, job prospects for international students and job prospects for US domestic students are two totally different scenarios, right? So job prospects for international students is always a little less, always difficult, and the starting salaries are also slightly lower, which makes sense, which is fine. If any company, if they have to hire international students, they will have to process your work visa, your H1 visa as well. So, so the number of companies which hire international students comparatively lesser, fewer companies. So the option, the job opportunities are slightly less when compared to the domestic students. Now, just I would like to give an example. Let's say that in India, for your bachelor's degree, now let's go for bachelor's degree. Let's say you get admission in IIT Kharagpur. Okay, everybody knows IIT Kharagpur is like the best, engineering college, right? Now, in IIT Kharagpur is located in Kharagpur, which has like almost like a village. There is nothing nearby, no industry. But does it matter? It does not matter because it's IIT Kharagpur. You will get a job no matter what, right? Now, if you get into IIT Kharagpur, obviously you should go to IIT Kharagpur. Now, let's say that you get admission in, in one of the IIT Jaipur, maybe, let's say. or maybe you get admission in IIT Srinagar, let's say, something like that. No? So, and you get admission in BTU Delhi, or you get admission in let's say College of Engineering Pune. You know, let's say for those of you who are from Pune, let's say you get admission in College of Engineering Pune and IIT Srinagar, let's say. You know, so where will you go? Right? Even though Srinagar is IIT Srinagar, it makes more sense to go to COET Pune, right? Why? Because it has far more job opportunities than your IIT Srinagar. So it's the same thing works in the US also. The rankings, you know, if you're not getting in a college that is in top 25, top 30, then after that, what's more important is the location of the university. The rankings don't matter much. Once you are, out of the top 25, 30, then it's better to go to a college that is in a bigger city than to a college that is, a rank higher. So if you get admission in a college that is ranked 40 and a college that is ranked 60, and if the college that is ranked 60 is in a bigger city, I would recommend you go to the college that is ranked 60. As an international student, your job search will become far easier if you are located in a big city. Your interns, your internships, your interviews, all of that will become far easier. So you should use that same logic while looking for universities. If you are not getting admission in a top 25, 30 university, then go to a university that is located in one of the big cities. Okay? Alright, so I am just getting a lot of questions. Do please hold on to your questions. As I said, I would, while I am speaking, I am not able to look at your questions at all. So Prasanna, I think you missed out on the initial part. So colleges are ranked, there are different parameters based on which colleges are ranked. The rankings are available on a website called www.usnews.com. Okay. So I'm going to type it on the chat, www.usnews.com. So you will get the rankings specialization wise, like for computer science, for electrical engineering, you'll get you get like that. Computer science will come under the humanities there. It does not come under engineering. So you'll get the rankings of engineering, then you will get the rankings for humanities. So the computer science in the US comes under humanities, not under engineering. Same with basic science, you will find for basic science also there. For physics, chemistry, all the rankings you will find there. Biology, you will find everything. Rankings of different colleges for that. Okay, moving on. So, yes, how can we know whether the university is private or public? Okay, very easy to work. Go to Wikipedia and search that university, the information is there. So architecture and urban planning, that rankings, all the rankings are there in usnews.com. So Roshan Food Science and Technology, there are just about 2-3 universities that offer that, so there is no ranking for that obviously. Yes, Sudeshna and everybody, plant sciences, that is your botany, right? So all of that comes, all the ranking, you will find the rankings there. It will come under overall ranking of biology. Biology or biological sciences. Okay, so now some basic stuff that I wanted to talk to you about. It has to do with, it has to do with the whole that, if you are not getting into a top 25-30 college, you have to go to a university that is in a bigger city or in the regions where there are more job opportunities for you. Right? Now this is something for those of you who are applying for MS Computer Science, MIS, MS Electrical Engineering. Please note, so keep in mind that schools in the states of New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, California, and Texas are good for computer science and electrical engineering, right? Why? Because there are a lot of software and electronics, industries in these states. So if you are not getting admission in a top 25-30 college, then to decide which colleges to apply to, please stick to, these states. the job opportunities are there, and when you start interviewing, when you start the interviewing process for your job, so it will be easier for you to look for jobs. So for those of you who are applying for MS Computer Science, MIS, MS Electrical Engineering, please give preference to the universities located in these states. Okay? Everybody, I mean, as I said, you don't need to take notes or anything. The recording will be available. Now, for those of you who are applying for mechanical engineering, manufacturing engineering, industrial engineering, engineering management. So, if you are applying for these kind of courses, then these are the states. Okay. Please know that these states are somewhat different from the computer science one. So, Michigan, Missouri, Wisconsin, Texas, Pennsylvania, Oklahoma, Louisiana, so Arkansas, right? So these are the places that are good for this. These are mainly all mechanical, manufacturing, industrial. They are mainly mechanical engineering oriented courses only. So there are a lot of job opportunities available since the auto industries and manufacturing units are located there. Engineering management has more to do with the manufacturing units, right? So if you are applying for these courses, then no point in probably going to Indiana or going to California or going to New Jersey. Why? Ultimately, you have to get a job. Ultimately, you have to do projects and internships. So it's better to go to locations where the job options are there. So Aditya, I already covered the Canadian one, right? Okay, and I think I did mention it in the beginning of the webinar. Please don't keep on typing your questions when I am speaking. I am not going to be able to address them at all, right? So when I am speaking, please do not type in your questions. I can definitely not, look at your questions and do this right at the same time. So hold on to your questions, okay? Then, if you are applying for biotech, biomedical engineering, biological sciences programs, so these kind of programs, so for these, the locations are New York, Virginia, Washington, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, Florida, Maryland, and other states in the East Coast, right? So in the US, the East Coast and the West Coast, right? So the East Coast is where the biotech and biological sciences related industries are big, right? So biotech industries and research firms are located in the East States, right? So so if you are applying for, let's say, MS Biomedical Engineering, and you are getting admission in a California college, the college might be really good, but all your job opportunities, all your research projects, most of it will be like happening in, will be happening in the East Coast, right? So it's like this, let's say you are a great actor, you are a great actor. So but does it make sense to try to do something in Delhi? No, right? You need to go to Mumbai, something like that. Now, Delhi is also a great city. Delhi also has a lot of jobs, but definitely not in the acting area. If you have to make it as an actor, it makes sense to go to Mumbai. Similarly, just like this, just like that. So if you have to do well in your chosen area of expertise, it makes sense to go to the location, go to the area in the state, in the US, where you have the job opportunities here. Then MPH, MHA, pharmacy-related master's or PhD degrees. So any state in the US would be fine, but more jobs are available in the rich states. See now these courses, they are, it's better if you go to some of the US states are richer than the others, like, in states like New York, Pennsylvania, Jersey, Washington, Massachusetts, California, Florida, Michigan, Texas. So these are some of the richer, states. So the job opportunities are far better there. But overall, any state in the US would be fine. Now, then comes this finance-oriented MS programs, MS Financial Engineering, MS Finance, MS Computational Finance. So, for these kind of programs, again, it's the East Coast, right? So, the East Coast states of this, that's where the financial hub is. You might have heard before the financial hub of the US. It's your New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Massachusetts, even Washington, D.C. for that matter, Virginia, North Carolina. So those are your places, those are the locations where you need to go to if you are applying, if you want to apply for courses related to the finance angle. Okay. So other than that, for these are some very broad, parameters. Other than that, for if I'm getting questions about where should I go for chemistry, where should I go for physics, for that, that you just stick to the logic of going to the big cities. Now, if you are able to get admission in a top 25, 30 college, great. Doesn't matter where that university is located. But in case you are not able to, then go to the bigger cities. Okay, so similar, see, I'm getting a lot of profile-specific questions about I'm doing this, I want to do that. I know I'm afraid I will not be able to address those questions in the webinar. The reason is that other people will not benefit from that. So if you have any questions specific to your own profile, please email it. I'll give you an email ID at the end of the webinar. So Suchetna has humanities. Okay, so humanities, again stick to the stick to the bigger states. You can use the same steps as for the pharmacy. These states, they are again the bigger, richer states. So they have the that cultural angle is high. So for humanities, that makes sense. Okay, so right, Sushant, I'm getting your question again and again. So let's hang on, right? So I've not reached that point of the webinar yet. Okay. So California State Universities again, just to say that they depends on what program you are going for, and there are different universities under the California State University system. Fullerton, and Fresno are the best, under the CSU system. Others are not that good, so if you are getting into Fullerton and Fresno, then definitely you should go. Right now, I have been getting a lot of, so civil engineering, you stick to the same steps as the MPH, MHA category. Again, civil engineering and architecture, it makes sense to go to bigger and richer states. Right. So yes, as I think I was getting a lot of questions about what work experience, what grade, blah blah blah. So so that is what your admissions criteria are. Remember at the beginning of the webinar I told you that there are two angles to it. One, to find a college that fit your requirements. The next step is to see whether you have a profile good enough to get admission there or not, right? So to look into that, you need to now check, whether what are the admissions criteria of the university. Okay. First thing that the university will look at is standardized test. Right? Now, what do you mean by standardized test? So standardized test, your GRE is a standardized test. Why is it called the standardized test? It's called the standardized test because it is the only standardized parameter on your application. Everything else is subjective, but the GRE score is whether you have got a 320 in India or whether you have got a 320 from Singapore. 320 is a 320. So that's why the focus on the GRE score is quite high. Ultimately, that is what the university can use to compare different applicants. The next score is the TOEFL or IELTS score, depending on which one you want to take, right? So this is mainly the TOEFL and IELTS score is mainly a cutoff requirement. It's you need this score to get a visa. So if you are looking only for admission, the score is you need to get at least a 80 in TOEFL. But if you are looking for scholarship, then you should try to get a 100. So that is the requirement for TOEFL. For IELTS, it's 7.5. So if you are looking for scholarship, etc. Right? Okay. The next thing that they are going to look at is the academic record. Academic record means only your bachelor's degree marks. They're not, the universities don't care about your class 10th and 12th marks. Right? So academics means whatever you have done in your bachelor's degree till now. You will probably be applying when you are in the final year of your bachelor's degree, so you will not have all the marks, but that's okay, right? So if you are applying when you are in the 7th semester or 8th semester, so whatever marks you have, so that will be taken into account. However, all these marks, they are very subjective, I mean, so it will depend on what course you are pursuing, which college you are studying in, etc., etc. So in addition to the raw marks, they also look at the college, the quality of college from where you are doing your bachelor's degree. That's extremely important. And your rank in your class. Are you in the top 10%? Are you in the top 20%? So your rank in your class, the college from where you have done your bachelor's degree, and the marks. These three things they look at. So I was getting some questions about how to convert your marks to your GPA, to the US GPA scale. So there is no formula as such. So it's impossible for you to change. Different universities use their own formula, and you cannot guess what that formula is. So don't worry about it. Apply it whatever you have. You are not going to get rejected purely because because you have a poor academic record. Yes, Shark is the same for German or Canadian, so the requirement is the same. In admissions criteria is the same. So Shafwat, your question is how are the marks of a specific university standardized? Well, it's not standardized, So that's why your rank in the class matters a lot. Now, work experience. I am getting a lot of questions about is work experience mandatory to do MS? The answer is no. You do not need work experience to do a master's degree. There are certain type of master's degrees for which you need work experience. So if you want to do a master's in business analytics, or if you want to do a master's in engineering management, so some of the top colleges like Duke, etc., that offer masters in engineering management, they need work experience. But otherwise, for 99% of the master's programs, you do not need work experience. So the next question is, if you have work experience, will you get credit for it? Well, see, you do not get extra credit purely because you have some work experience. But if you have done some research-oriented work during that work experience, then that counts. Okay? So silver, I don't think the 6 is too bad. Don't worry about it, right? So Hardik, so everybody know this is the entire admissions criteria. Okay. So it's not that you will get rejection if your GRE score is low, or you will get rejection if your academic record is low. Nothing like that. The entire list is there. Universities look at academic records and GRE score as one component. So these two are viewed as one component, right? So these two combined, they get an idea whether you will be able to cope with their curriculum or not. So if you feel that your academic record is not that good, if that's what you feel, you may be wrong, but if that's what you feel, now you have a chance to make up for it by getting a high GRE score. The good thing about GRE is that you can take it again and again. You can take it, till the time you get a satisfactory score. Universities will not even know whether you have taken it multiple times, because you will be sending the score that you want to send to this university, right? So, so that's the best part about GRE, that you can take it multiple times, get a good score, and then that should be fine. Now, and that is for students who feel that they have a poor academic record. So if you have a very strong academic record, let's say you are in the top 5% of your class, and in addition to that, if you have a 320 plus, GRE score, then, then of course your chances are better. Next is extracurricular activities. So Neha, do have some patience. I'm still going down the list of the admissions criteria. I will reach your point. Just let me just get done with it. Then you guys can put your questions. In fact, again I have to request you not to start typing your questions when I am speaking. Okay. Do wait till I ask. Do you have a question? Only then you should type in your question. Okay. So now coming to extracurricular activities, right? So this is very important. But the extracurricular activities, they are important only after you have met all the other criteria. In fact, this is the last thing that they are going to look at, right? So you should have some extracurricular activities, but you are not going to you will not be able to compensate for a low GRE score or low academic record with excellent extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities will help if you do an MBA, but for masters and PhD, extracurricular activities that's looked at as the very last thing. So having some extracurricular activities is good, but even even if you have excellent extracurricular activities, it's not going to compensate for poor scores. Personal documents. What do you mean by personal documents? Your SOPs and LORs. So now LORs, who should you be taking from? Of course, LOR, you should be taking from your research, your professors, your research guides. If you have more than 1 year of work experience, then you can take it from your manager also. But at the end of the day, masters and PhD degrees, they are academic degrees. So it doesn't make sense to have more than one LOR from your workplace. And if you have less than 1 year of experience, then you should not be considering taking LOR from your office. Right. So Neha, your question was when compared to LOR from university dean, professor versus your manager, which one is preferred? So the point is that dean. I mean, you should be taking it from a dean only if the person has taught you. The best LOR is the one that you should be taking from your project guide. In your college education, I believe you do different projects. So you should be taking it at least one from your project. And if you have 3 to 4 years of work experience, then you take one from your manager. Yeah, but not more than one. You will still need to take 2 from your college professor. Gablu, you can take TOEFL. TOEFL is fine. Yes, Neha, Max 1. Okay, just everybody just please stop typing your questions. Let me at least address the ones that I have till now. Some of them I'll try to address. Chetan has a question. GRE gives 5 free universities to apply. Should we apply? Okay, Chetan, first of all, it's not 5, it's 4. And the second thing is not apply. You get to send your scores for free, the GRE scores for free. You will still need to apply separately and pay the application fees. And if you do not send your scores that day, you can anyway send the scores separately, but after paying a certain fee of $27, right? So the application fees is not free. You will anyway need to apply separately. Tanvi, your question is, are there specific formats for SOP LOR? Yes, for LOR it's usually the question answer format, so it's separate. SOP also there can be specific questions. Prabhat's question is, we have to look for 30 universities in respective fields or overall, in respective fields if possible. Srija's question is, what is the website to know the ranking MS format? So yes, it's usnews.com. Srija is the same website. Shivani's question is, please suggest universities for MS in web development or cloud computing. So it comes under computer science only, right? Neha's question is it necessary to take both TOEFL or IELTS? No, you need to take only one depending on which country you are going to. Neha, personal documents are SOPs and LORs. Those are called personal documents, right? Srija's question is, what is the monetary investment required for MS Informatics? It's a huge, it's a huge range, depending on from 20 lakhs to 50 lakhs, depending on which college you want to go to. Sumit has a question, wouldn't it be difficult to get LOR from the manager? Why would a manager prefer giving a LOR when purely the company is at a disadvantage? Of course, your logic is perfect, That's why, That's why a lot of students do not get their LOR from their current manager, right? So, but if you have more than 1 year of work experience, so you can take one from your company. It need not be manager. It can be a colleague also. Shivani, okay guys, for all of you, for rankings, if you want to check out the rankings, please go to www.usnews.com. Okay. Right. Okay. Moving on. So Munali, for Europe, IELTS would do. Okay, the next and the most important, everybody please stop typing and listen. Research work is the most important criteria for MS and PhD admissions, especially if you are looking for scholarships. In fact, the MS and if you are applying for MS and PhD, and if you have got great research work, then all of these actually stop mattering. We had a student who got into MIT with a very low GRE score. MIT, as you know, is like the #1 college. But we had 3 international paper publications and 1 patent. So if your research work angle is strong, if it is very good, then everything else is, if it is bad, you will still get admission in top colleges. So that's how important, or that's how strong the research work angle is. Okay? Now, obviously it's not possible for everybody to have great research work. So what counts as research work? So the final year degree project that you do, or during your bachelor's degree, any kind of project work that you do, any kind of industrial trainings that you do, if you have published any paper, that's good. If you have participated or published any or presented any paper in paper presentation competitions in your college, that is good. So all these things count as research work. But if you have publications in journals, if you have got publications in research journals, then that is an extremely good thing. It will help you a lot. And scholarships, when universities decide whether to give scholarships or not, so the first thing that they look at is your research profile. If your research profile is strong, then you will be preferred, when the universities decide whether to give scholarships or not. So Silva, yes, you are right. You cannot send out your final year project. In fact, you cannot send out your project anyway. But in your SOP, statement of purpose, you can always write what your final year project is about, what you are currently doing, at what stage you are at. So you will be writing about your research work. Some of it you will be writing in your CV, that is in your resume, and most of it, the detailed technical part, you will be writing in the statement of purpose. Okay. Neha, the research criteria is not for PhD students only. It is for MS also. Prabhat, I do not understand your question, right? So, Vishaka, your question is, paper is published in international journal, but the subject is different. That is fine. If your subject is different, that is okay. So, universities want to see whether you can do independent research or not. It does not, so even if it is in a topic that is not related to your master's degree, that is still fine. The fact that you have the ability to do independent research, or the fact that you have the capability to write a research paper, that is enough for university. As a company blogger, I don't know how much research is that, but if you're a technical blogger, yeah, that's good. If you have written white papers, for your company, that's good. So, Prasad, that email ID is I'm just typing the email ID, right, on the chat window. So it's information@jamboreeindia.com. So in fact, those of you who have specific questions also, you can do it there. See, Arav, if you have a 1 year gap, so if you are doing something in that, that's fine, Okay, so now, it's very important to plan and take your GRE. A lot of you are preparing for your GRE already, which is good. But no, just randomly preparing is not good. You should start your university shortlisting side by side. That's why we are having this webinar today. You should have a shortlist. Let's say X university has, for your profile, will need, let's say, 320 plus. You know. So I mean that's where a lot of you are enrolled in a admissions program. So you know. So that's what we do. And then the deadline is there. So when you have this kind of a short list, then what happens is that, you know by when you have to take the GRE exam, you also know what kind of score you will need for your profile, for whatever you have, your research work is there, for whatever profile you have till now, for that, what score you need for what university and what's the deadline, based on that, only then your GRE preparation becomes targeted. Otherwise, it's just random preparation going on. You take the exam whenever you are ready. What if you miss the deadline? Yeah. Varun, your question is social service health. Okay. See, social service health, if you are applying for a related course, if you want to apply for MS in social work, obviously it helps. But if you are applying for a MS in computer science, then you have a social work volunteering thing, so that's not going to help you much. Okay, I'm getting this question again. What is if you have a gap after BTech? So if you have a gap after BTech, you have a gap after BTech. You cannot do much about it. So you have to have some explanations for that gap. Why do you have that gap? Prashant, okay, where can we find university deadlines? So the deadlines for some of the programs are available on our website. Just let me go to the next slide. I think I do have the link. Right. So university deadlines, for instance, if you go to this link, you'll find the deadlines of some of the programs of the top 50 US news colleges. So you can find it here. So Banerjee, your question is advice on MIM in Europe. So okay, so for MIM in Europe, your extracurricular activities matter a lot. However, Banerjee, if I were you, I would not be going to Europe right now. All of you know about the whole Britain's Euro exit. Because of Brexit, the whole economy, the job situation in Europe is not that strong right now. So I would yes, as I said, if you're looking for a job after your master's degree, then doing a degree in the Europe right now may not be a very good idea. So Jishan, your question is kindly suggest me on MS in data science. So MS in data science is a really up and coming course. Actually, it is if you look at the curriculum of MS in business analytics, it's kind of similar. Johns Hopkins has a very good program in data science. University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign also has. So there are a lot of colleges, but of course relatively less. University of Cincinnati has a good business analytics program, so you can check those out. Alicia, your question is if you have experience in IT, want to pursue masters in finance. Okay, Alicia, that's a very common thing. A lot of people who work in IT, but who work in the financial processes, like the Citibank or something like that. If you have worked for financial clients and you can be software engineer, great. So these kind of people, they do want to do something related to finance. But I would advise you to look at financial engineering or computational finance rather than MS finance. MS finance is too hardcore, right? So Alicia, go to Google, check out programs like MS Financial Engineering, MS Computational Finance. So you will realize that they are far more related to what you do. MS Finance is too hardcore, and while giving admissions, the preference would be given to people who have studied research in accounting, statistics, etc. Right? Sagar, your question is it good to leave the present job to prepare for the GRE exam? It's not a good idea at all. Definitely not a good idea. Shivani, your question is, if I have my budget near 30 lakhs, can I pursue MS from a good university? Yeah, 30 lakhs sounds fine, Varun, your question is, any university for MS in hardware board? Okay, that is way too specific. So I think embedded systems would meet your requirement. Just check out,
Chinmay, your question is which states are good for business analytics? So business analytics is a comparatively new course. Handful of universities offer that. So it is, and that is why it is like still very, very employable. Only about less than 15 universities in the US offer that course. So in any university if you can get into, it's good. Yes, Supreet.